Alright, so 2023 still has some juice left in the tank for one final set of leaks. We have news that a PC port for Spider-Man 2 is not too far off, one of the Spider-Verse games gets cancelled, and now Rockstar Games is getting hit with a source code leak for GTA 5. Plus many things to discuss about, really eventful end of December, and I do hope that you're all having some amazing holidays. Now, news of PC port have been going on for a while, plus everyone kind of have expecting it, as this has been part of Sony's strategy for a while now to also release their first party titles on the PC version too. However, we have this interesting article by WCCF Tech which points out that work on a PC port has already begun and is in fact in a pretty advanced state, suggesting that it's going to get completed by the end of the 2024 fiscal year, so that means by March 2024. Now, this comes as a result of a number of work-in-progress screenshots of a PC build that have been circulating online recently as a result of that ransomware attack that hit Insomniac Games at the beginning of the month. Obviously, this includes just bringing the game to the PC platform, not the flashing out of any bugs, QA, plus the fact that typically Sony also likes to wait at least 1 year in between the console and PC release of their first party titles, and in some cases even 2 or more, like for example with the 2018 release, the PC port only came out in 2022, so almost 4 years later. But this was right around the time that Sony started implementing their new strategy of adding PC ports. So we could see a much shorter time window this time around, with the article suggesting 2025 being a likely candidate. Now, this also means that if you're a PC player and are looking forward to enjoying the game, you're probably going to get the best version of it too, including any patches, bug fixes, and additional content that gets released from now until that port comes out. Quick reminder that the previous Marvel Spider-Man launched with all the patches on the PC, all the fixes, suits, plus the DLCs from the base game, but also included some extra suits just for the PC version and the improved graphics and DLSS from the remaster. But it's not all great news. At least one of the projects talked about recently in the leaks has been confirmed cancelled. Mostly it seems that the Spider-Verse multiplayer game that was pitched at some point to Sony. In fact, Jason Schreier was the one that reported a few days ago that the multiplayer game got cancelled a long time ago, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Now, I was personally most excited about this game and the possibilities that a concept like this could bring to the Spider-Verse. The pitch also included Spider character creation and picking between different Spider heroes that would fit slightly different roles, having somewhat different stats and whatnot, some focusing on agility, defenses, powers, and so on. So it really seemed very exciting, but yeah, unfortunately that has been scrapped a long time ago. This also explains why Insomniac's schedule from 2025 and onwards looked so busy at first. It's because likely it included many of these projects that have since been scrapped. Now, the Bloomberg article suggests many other documents and leaks may also no longer be accurate, not just the one involving multiplayer. I was thinking that the Venom game could have been in this category at some point too, until Insomniac probably saw that the fan feedback is really favoring a Venom game, a standalone Venom game. Probably the only reason we actually get to see it is because of that tweet that Brian put at some point. But there are likely many more, like recently some entries mentioning a Silk standalone game have also been uncovered. It's likely that the pitch existed, but maybe the character will get reserved for the following sequel. It's not only projects getting cancelled, it seems that a good portion of the second half of Marvel Spider-Man 2 also got cut, especially ones involving the Venom saga. Recently, there's been an interview with Insomniac's Brian Intihar that confirms a significant portion got removed because it did not meet Sony's quality standards.
I remember when there was one part in the project where we realized that the back half of the game we weren't going to make it. Like, we weren't going to hit the quality bar, and
So this explains what Tony Todd said during the launch of Spider-Man 2, the fact that 90% of his Venom dialogues did not make it in the final release. It's because Sony thought it wasn't quite up there, so Insomniac had to remove it while not breaking the flow of the narrative, and still be able to stitch all of that story together to make it make sense. And it sounds like this was done fairly late in development too. I'm surprised honestly that the game even came out as soon as it did. But but I would have still preferred a lower quality narrative involving Venom than having to play as MJ in the most critical and important part during the symbiote infestation. Not that I have anything against giving her more moments to shine, they were definitely better than the previous game, but her involvement in the most critical and dangerous parts of the narrative didn't make too much sense for me. Like, they definitely felt the most disconnected from the entire narrative I've seen until then. So this maybe would have been handled a little bit better if Sony just left it in the game. Again, personally, I would just prefer a slightly lower quality narrative with Venom, but have more gameplay with that character than not have it at all. Who knows, maybe the PC port will finally uncover these and we might get to see at least some portions of them. But yeah, it definitely seems that Sony has a very strange history and now interaction with its own multiplayer projects, especially as we just talked about the Spider-Verse game getting cancelled, while recently we found out that The Last of Us Online also got canned. And what's odd is that it was already in a very advanced state, plus people who got a chance to actually give it a go really enjoyed it. It of course included different modes, seasons, weekly jobs, even a battle pass and a shop in there and all. But yeah, this definitely seemed very interesting. Obviously it would have required a continuous support and allocation of all or most of Naughty Dog's resources for just this project, which is why they came out with that announcement a while ago that mentioned this would have also impacted their single player games, which is why they ultimately decided to cancel it. But yeah, sad to see this going. It would have been amazing. Maybe Sony could do something with it, maybe pass it to a different studio and kind of just take the reins on it. But yeah, I doubt that really. Now recently God of War Ragnarok has been making serious waves. This is the next project I want to talk about because I really enjoyed Valhalla and I'm still surprised that it's absolutely and completely free. That being said, it also showed us that people really want young Kratos again. Well, our prayers might be answered because rumors have it that there's a PS5 remaster of the original God of War trilogy and that we might get to see it as early as next year in 2024. So this is just rumors for now, nothing confirmed, but the source is pretty legit. It comes from a recent Xbox Era podcast. We don't really know if that 2024 schedule is the one for release date or is it just for the announcement and then the release date comes at a later date, but I'm just glad to hear that there's something like that in the works. Plus, it's not clear if this is also going to include God of War Ascension or if it's only going to be God of War 1, 2, and 3. But it sounds really exciting. Even for somebody who already played the franchise, I would definitely love to have another go at it on the PlayStation 5, especially if, for example, you don't get access to a PS2 or PS3, or if in your region PlayStation Now works really badly. This could be a very good way to repick it and play it again, see how those old games fared. On a final note, there's a series of major data breaches going on right now. It seems that Insomniac isn't the only company being hit, but Rockstar Games too, which was just last year suffering from another series of big leaks. Well, it seems that it happens again, and this time around, at least partially, the source code for GTA 5 got leaked, plus files for a possible Bully 2 game, as well as some GTA 6 source code hitting the internet like wildfire right now. Now, this isn't as big as the Insomniac leak, but it's still nonetheless significant. First, the source code for GTA 5 going out, which likely means an explosion of hacks and cheaters for GTA Online might follow really soon, a game mode that actually is already pretty filled with cheaters and hackers. Interesting to note is that GTA 5 did have single-player DLC planned at some point, and not just on one occasion, but 8 different ones were planned. So this just shows you how much Rockstar Games was pulling from online that they ultimately decided to scrap DLCs 8 times from GTA 5 in favor of GTA Online just because it's such a massive cash cow for them. So really heartbreaking here to find out that there were 8 planned DLCs. Hopefully at some point we might discover them or get them, but at this point I'm kinda doubting it. Similarly, there are lots of files being discovered for the highly requested yet unreleased Bully 2 game. So this goes as far as even showing concept arts, 3D models, and screenshots of various characters, locations, and even gameplay concepts that you can find online basically if you just search it. But I'm not gonna like display it in this video for obvious reasons. Plus, portions of code from the upcoming GTA 6 also seems to be part of it. Again, not sure what the significance of this is as of yet, but it does seem that these companies definitely need to bump up their security measures. In any case, this is about it with the news. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.